One of the most coveted compressors in the planet, somehow done better.
And in a plugin.
Today, my friend, we're going to be checking out the Unfairchild by Undertone Audio and MIXLAND. Amor Lanzas, and now we break it down, baby. Alright, my friend, thank you so much for being here once again. And today we have, for me, one of my favorite episodes, the Unfairchild compressor by Undertone Audio. I mean, the hardware version, the real thing, has been taking over a bunch of studios here in LA. And sort of like one of the best ways that somebody described it to me was like, imagine those plugins that you get from a Plugin Alliance and all the little settings that they add, but in a hardware version of a Fairchild. And you know, that's exciting and all, but for most people, at least like me and maybe you, the price is a little bit prohibited. And if you're part of the few that can actually afford this kind of piece of equipment, let me know in the comment section down below so I know what kind of caliber of people I'm dealing with. Anyway, I digress. Enter MIXLAND. This is just probably gonna be the collaboration of 2024 because when you combine Undertone Audio with MIXLAND, both of them, I wanna say, companies are led not by engineers, not by designers, not by coders, but by actual mixing engineers, recording engineers, producers. On one side, we have Eric Valentine, which has done like the American Rejects, Smash Mouth's All-Star, which is an amazing song, the Queens of the Stone Age, Slash, 5 Seconds of Summer, and a bunch of other top charting bands of like the early 2000s. And one of my favorites, Jessie Ray, who's doing like Doja Cat and Burna Boy, G-Eazy.
At the top of my head.
All that to say that they made a plugin, and I want to share it with you, my friend. Zoom. Okay, so here we are. I have this little vocal right here, and I have this meter that you can find in this section of the screen so that we can make sure that we're always like level matching properly and that we're not really just tricking ourselves with volume. You know what they say, if it sounds louder, it sounds better. Right, so let's find our plugin. Okay, so we're gonna go all the way down here where it says Undertone Audio, and we hit our Unfairchild. That took a second to load. And of course, like I told you, I just found out about this plugin, and we're gonna do a demo the right way, with the demo. Alright, let's go. Boom, first and foremost, it looks really nice. And I'm gonna say it, I feel like it's very nice how the new generation of plugins that I've been seeing lately are paying so much attention to the way the plugin looks, and I feel like that's really important. When you're trapped mixing and producing every single day of your life for maybe, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 hours a day maybe sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it gets crazy. And it feels like a breath of fresh air when you open a plugin and it all of a sudden looks great. It sort of like it stimulates a different part of your brain that sometimes it might be just that little bit of motivation that you just need to keep pushing through that little extra hour that you need to push through to finish that mix. But honestly, if you're just too tired, might as well just go to sleep because you're just gonna wreck the mix. But if you decide to keep doing it, save a version called Overtired so that you can assess what happens when you're really tired and you know you're tired, but you keep pushing it. Do you really make progress? Or are you just spinning in circles? Let me know in the comment section down below if you try it. I'll be super curious to know. And while you're there, remember to like, subscribe, and do all those cool little things that we like to do on YouTube, and enjoy this little bossa nova, my friend. I hope your day keeps getting better and better and better. Alright, let's go. Okay, but let's stop doting. First and foremost, let's find my favorite part of any plugin, the user interface size, and we have that 150. There you go. Now this looks a lot better to me. So first and foremost, we have presets right here on the left, and we have factory presets. I like that they divide them into different kind of instruments. I wish it would say who did these presets, but it doesn't. But then here you go, Eric Valentine factory default. I have to say that's what it is. And then you can link them oversampling all the way to 16 times. A global output that is not the analog section of the plugin, which is pretty cool. And then total harmonics drive control, mix knob, the dreaded sign that I'm poor but I'm still determined to bring you these videos. I kind of want to say that all these cool ideas, every single company just should make it standard, you know, like having a comparison button.
It's sometimes really nice.
Okay, and then we have the user interface size, and then this that I assume is gotta be maybe our manual. Let's see what happens if I click it. Help, it throws you to our website. There you go, and it's the manual. Let's close this because we're not going to use the manual today. We're not trying to build the thing. We're trying to listen to the thing with our ears. Right. Let's go right here. I feel like very self-explanatory. We have an input, we have a threshold, we have a time constant, which is in the Fairchild pretty much like a preset selection, and they all have different values of attack and release. I want to say that maybe going from fastest to slowest, and then 5 and 6 that are program dependent, and then we have variation 1, 2, 3, and 4. For that, we're gonna need the manual, friend. And then we have a stereo field linking kind of knob. We have linked, we have independent, which I assume is independent left from right. And then we have mid and side, or what it would be called Latin vert in a regular Fairchild. And then we have a linked version of it. Pretty cool. Then we have external sidechain, and very special to this plugin and to the Fairchild in general, I think, because I do think that you can get a module for the original on Fairchild. I think I said Fairchild, but I meant on Fairchild, that allows you to control these things, the attack, release, and the DC threshold. And this would be a perfect time for you to go get a great set of headphones, AirPods, a great set of speakers, or whatever you feel comfortable listening to music objectively, so that we can have a meaningful conversation in the comment section down below. Right, so here we go. We got this raw vocal, absolutely no processing at all, just like straight up microphone, preamp, converter, Pro Tools on Fairchild. First, we're gonna hear it without it, and then I'm gonna start bringing it in and out of bypass, and you'll be able to see what's going on and hear what's happening. Pay attention to the meter if you can. Let's go. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Now climate's finally changing. AI's here to take her jobs. No more sharing Netflix. The world is slowly burning. Crypto crash, its markets dive. Party like it's 99 again. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Now climate's finally changing. AI's here to take her jobs. No more sharing Netflix. The world is slowly burning. Crypto crash, its markets dive. Party like it's 99 again. Definitely you can hear how he just fattens that vocal up, but I don't hear like it's adding like any level, really. It seems like they really paid attention to that kind of part of the equation. Let's tweak a little bit of the settings and see what happens. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Now climate's finally changing. AI's here to take her jobs. No more sharing Netflix. The world is slowly burning. Crypto crash, its markets dive. Party like it's 99 again. The attack is very, very grabby, huh? Let's try to match level a little bit better. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Now climate's finally changing. AI's here to take her jobs. No more. So right there, I'm matching a little bit like what I'm hearing, but still you see that I'm gaining maybe like a couple dBs because my peak levels are a little bit reduced, but it feels a little bit fattened. I can hear the compression kick in. The attack is a little bit maybe too fast for this song, but it's sounding pretty great. Let's hear it again. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Now climate's finally changing. AI's here to take her jobs. No more sharing Netflix. This would be a great moment to play with the time constants and hear what they're doing. Let's start all the way in the fastest one. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Now climate's finally changing. AI's here to take her jobs. No more sharing Netflix. The world is slowly burning. Crypto crash, its markets dive. Party like it's 99 again. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Alright, I feel like all these are very, very different. So far, I love number 3 and I love number 6. Let's compare those two out. Starting with 3. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Now climate's finally changing. AI's here to take her jobs. No more sharing Netflix. The world is slowly burning. Crypto crash, its markets dive. Party like it's 99 again. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. I think I like 6 a little bit better because it's a little bit more colored. I heard the unit a lot more. Let's hear it with and without really quick. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Now climate's finally changing, AI's here to take her jobs, no more sharing Netflix. The world is slowly burning, crypto crash, its markets dive, party like it's 99 again. I really love the harmonic content. I mean, it's adding a little bit of weight to the vocal. Maybe that's what you need in the mix, maybe not, maybe you needed to cut through, but I think that's pretty sweet. Let's hear what happens in the variables. I wonder what's the difference between all these 4 variables. Let's check the manual really quick. Okay, what's going on with the manual? Because it says about the 4 variable modes, but it doesn't say what's the difference between them. Maybe the differences are so big that we can hear them. Let's see what happens. Let's start with the attack all the way fast and the release all the way fast. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Now climate's finally changing, AI's here to take her jobs, no more sharing Netflix. I mean, I do hear some difference, but it's like very, very minor, so hard for me to describe actually what am I even hearing, right? One of them sounds a little bit louder. Let's hear it again. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Somehow, I feel like this got this lowest release, but there's... To me, it makes me feel that variable 2, the attack and the release, a little bit slower. So the transient comes a little bit through a little bit better. And it's still compressing a little bit longer. So it feels a little bit fatter to me. And I feel like 4, just because it's more distorted than all of them, maybe makes me feel like the release might be the fastest. I don't know. You guys are smarter than I am. And let me know in the comment section down below. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like what I hear. I feel like the vocal just like comes a little bit forward in variable 2. Variable 4, it feels like it gets a little bit more of like a high mid bump somehow because of the distortion that I'm hearing. That's all I can say. The differences are very, very minor, but they do make a difference. Let's see what happens if we keep on variable 2 and we manipulate our attack and release control. Let's do it. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Now climate's finally changing, AI's here to take her jobs, no more sharing Netflix. The world is slowly burning, crypto crash, its markets dive, party like it's 9. I mean, that setting sounds pretty good. Let's see what happens if we add a little bit of release to get it a little bit to sound fatter. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Now climate's finally changing, AI's here to take her jobs, no more sharing Netflix. Yeah, you hear how it's grabbing a little bit more there. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Let's give it a little bit more volume so that we're not tricking ourselves. Stock 'em first. Life feels like a traffic jam. Check by check, we make it work somehow. Now climate's finally changing, AI's here to take her jobs, no more sharing Netflix. I mean, it does sound so much better. The vocal, just the tone of it. Forget about compression, forget about dynamic range. It just sounds prettier. So right out of the bat, as soon as I started hitting the variables in the attack and release, which it comes to no surprise, I think we all have been wanting to manipulate the attack and release in a Fairchild. So it does make sense that the name is Unfairchild, because how could you compare this against a Fairchild? Anyway, next example. Right, now let's hear it in some drums. First without it. Again, the tone of the plugin in and of itself, it's really nice. Let's try the oversampling and see how it feels. Let's start with the 16X and drop it to 1. I feel like it's a lot easier to hear the differences when you do that. You hear what you're missing.
My old computer cannot really handle it, but
I'm gonna say it right here, right now. It sounds really, really, really good. The second you hear that 16 times over sampling, it just gets like 3D all of a sudden. That's all I can say. All of a sudden, I hear the room sound a lot better in the drums. I hear the kick drum a lot better. I almost can feel the air. Let's try to see if I can do it with my computer. But look at the oversampling, how much it destroys my computer. I mean, of course, this is a full mix. Maybe a lot of things are frozen and stuff, but this is still a full mix. My computer cannot touch this oversampling. I want to say that the biggest difference that I can hear is, more than anything, it's like a harshness reduction that all of a sudden it happens. When you have the oversample at time 16, there's no harshness, which makes total sense. Like the top end just gets so clear. I can hear everything so clear. Definitely, it's just such a bump in quality. I feel like that would be really useful, maybe like in a mastering kind of scenario for me. Maybe I would have to like print my mix and then print it through that. I don't know. I'm just trying to think about it. Or maybe the new M4s can handle it. But let's go back to peasant mode and let's do some damage to these drums. Let's check really quick what would happen if we start pushing and then we check the variable settings. Let's check the variable attack and release so that we can open that attack a little bit more. Let's start in fast, both of them in fast. In this case, variable 4 brings like a little bit of like the punch in the kick drum that it's very nice. Like the top end of the kick. Just hear it really quick. Now let's start tweaking these. Wow, that sounds so tasty. That release, what am I doing? On 8, it sounds magic in these drums. Let's go all the way fast and then let's go to 8 and see what happens. I want to say that maybe like our stereo image suffered a little bit with these kind of settings, but the punch of the kick drum, the separation between kick drum, snare, I can almost hear the separation between my overheads and my direct microphones. I mean, it does something very special. Let's see if I can get away with like maybe 8 times oversampling. Wow, sounds amazing. Now let's try to go independent and see if that fixes our stereo image problem. You can hear it right there in the claps, how it just left them where they were. If I go here to the link version of it, you'll hear how it actually makes them a little bit closer to the center image.
Pretty nice. I think that sounded really, really nice.
Okay, so I feel like very crucially, drums and vocals sound really great through this plugin. Again, key, the variable attack and release. But let's go a little bit further and hear our instrument bus with the Unfairchild. Now that I hear it with a lot of noise and all these like instruments bashing the compressor, I can hear the tone a lot more. It's like subtle enough that it can work in any like bus kind of scenario, but it's just doing exactly the right things. I'm telling you, it does something really nice to the harsh, the signal so properly. Let's start compressing a little bit more and see what happens. Again, it feels pretty grabby. Let's go to a time constant 6 and hear how it feels. Wow, that's adding a lot of weight to the guitar. Listen to the guitars. Pay attention to like the heavy guitars left and right. You hear chan chan chan, chan 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 chan. Listen to those really quick. Very, very, very nice. Let's go to our trick settings. I think for drums, the variable 4 worked well, so it's probably going to work well for the instrument bus as well. And let's do experiments with attack all the way fast and release all the way fast. Take it from there. Let's see what it is. It does so much for those drums. It's really helping the drums and the guitars so much. I'm really enjoying just the tone of the compressor. And of course, we're gaining the opportunity to push this a little bit farther if we need to, just because we've diminished our crest factor. And it just sounds good. I think it just sounds good. It actually sounds like almost like less compressed somehow. And on that note, my friend, let's go get a few conclusions. So there you go, my friend, the Unfairchild by Undertone Audio and MIXLAND. Incredible plugin. First and foremost, I can't believe that they actually made a Fairchild better. Because the main reason why I usually go for a Fairchild is for the tone, right? You kind of want to hear those 18 tubes and all those transformers and whatever it is that makes a Fairchild. But you're always thinking about it because the attack is never right, the release is never right, maybe the release is right but not the attack, maybe the attack is right but not the release. You know what I'm saying? But as soon as you take that out of the equation, what an amazing compressor, and it helped me fall in love with the Fairchild again. And I don't want to leave this out because in the beginning I really didn't even pay attention to this plugin because it was a little bit too expensive. I think they launched it for like $350 or something like that, something outrageous. But I know that they changed the pricing, and let's say in the case that I would like to get this plugin, I would probably wait for Black Friday or something like that. I feel like right now it's maybe like $50 or something, and for $50 this thing is a steal. Alright, my friend, but that's enough about me. I want to hear what you have to say in the comment section down below, and while you're there, remember to like, subscribe. If you can support me financially, smash that super thanks button right there. I thank you so much. And if you have some more time to spend with me and want to watch another video, go watch this one right here and I'll be waiting for you right there, my friend. Thank you for coming here today.